did see Martin Cavallaro just heading off. And that is fifth, and Portugal just struggling a little bit to get up to halfway. They want to kill the ball on their side, I would imagine, here.
Oh, unlucky there.
So I think England will probably box. They'll probably prove me wrong now.
Yep, they're just going to take it on down.
Yeah, you got Malachi Randolph on the ball. That's Alice Watts. Ben McKinns, I think, is that.
Nice touch there. Portugal on their toes on the line there to get that touch. Dragging for that 32 channel again, pick up.
Out ball to Ben McKinn's hole. Good score.
Nice.
I think that's Malachi there, was that? Number 1.
Can't see at the moment.
Yeah, Malachi Randolph. Again, a good looking for the 32 platform, but the pickup gone long on the other side, middle running outside, his middle to set up the score in that link hole.
Yeah, just caught the Portuguese slightly wrong-footed by dragging them one way and then trying to pull them the other way. And manipulating the defence is so much part of touch. This is good yards now by Portugal. Unlucky.
That's unlucky. He was maybe just on the outside of the England link there, Will Stockdale. Ollie Simon driving in hard straight to Ellis Pearce. The missed play to Will Stockdale. And still driving in hard.
That's great yards now.
That's 4 and 5th coming. Will they attack off this? They are going to attack off this. And that's 5th touch. See if England can do anything special here. Might see a fake cut, I think. But we haven't. That was unlucky. I know in England's last game, I think England well beat Ukraine, but the biggest and most successful cheer was when Ukraine scored. So hopefully we will see a Portuguese score or two and get them on the sheet. That would be good.
Yeah, it's just great to see them here and playing, and I think scoring for your country is not much better than that.
Absolutely. England going direct again at the looks of it. Nathan Gallagher. So that touch is made. Good touch.
Yeah, that was by Thomas there, Thomas Bois, making that touch.
Got Archie Pennicid in here. The younger Pennicid brother. Little pop out by Ethan is a good score by Joe Banks down here on the wing. Just a quick check of the team sheet for me, make sure I don't get any of these England boys wrong. They would ridicule me afterwards.
Oh, that's your role. I'm going to keep an eye on the Portuguese. That's better yards there from the Portuguese, hitting the same hole.
Good yards. Now they just want to keep some momentum going here, run hard.
I think Portugal are trying stuff now. They've got a couple of players there with a little step. It's just making it in the right space. As you said, I think if they can roll into their moves a little bit more, it will catch the defence a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's good there is they force the 6 touches. And that's very, very quick score there by Tom Court.
Yeah,
Pretty sure older brother played last time, Harry. I think I'm right in saying that. But England have got pacey wingers in here, and if they're given any space, they will make Portugal pay, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think the Portuguese winger Matthew Swatsky there was left a bit flat-footed and then had to turn and chase, and that's always an awkward position to start from. Now, can they roll into something this time?
Good defence there from I think it's Alice Pearce. It is Alice down there. Portugal moving the ball wide. I think they're going to have to move it back. Yeah.
There's just a little bit of hesitancy as they get to the line, a little bit slower to get a half there, and that gives England the chance to reset.
Absolutely. England might move the ball away from the box now. They come into the box. That second touch and third is coming, and good yards already. Good by Archie Penasard there.
Right.
4, and they've got 2 strike plays if they want it. Here comes the first. Straight in, 3 on 2. If they can finish this, they can. Nice and easy. Will Cullen.
Easy. We're finding the Portuguese winger there just staying a little bit wide on their man rather than marking the space. They tend to be marking the man. Be nice to see them coming a little bit and shutting that hole down.
Absolutely. You talk about defences staying connected, don't you? And we talk about separation between players, and that'd be really good, as you said there, that the wingers and links have got to come in, force the long ball. Worst case, that probably increases the chance of an error for England to make.
Yeah, and if they get the long ball away and it's a good ball, you give them a clap and say well done.
Absolutely. But again, Portugal, a couple of strike plays here. That's going to give loss of control. I think that's a bit unlucky. And I think it's a non-contact sport, but actually it's not, is it? It's a minimal contact sport, and the ruck can be quite a physical area. And England will be physical in the ruck, and maybe Portugal might not be quite so used to that. Yeah,
we were talking about this earlier with Liam, and he was saying he thought it was a non-contact till he actually watched it and realised that actually it's can be quite physical at times, particularly at boys 18s level.
Yeah, good spot from the refs there, and for anybody again watching back home, the refs will call this back in a minute because England had 7 on. It's only marginal, but the box in front of us, it's 20-metre box, it's between the 2 10-metre lines, and the refs will be strict at ensuring when the player coming off gets in that box before the player comes on.
Portugal get a second tap this time. They've practiced their tap-off move several times, but they're deciding to subs. Bit of confusion there. It's touch 2, but they've got fresh legs on. Check balls away. This is nice. It's touch 3. That's touch 4. And again, they're just hesitating here as they go into 5, giving England a chance to show some shape. Unlucky, and we had touch there. And the boys are England looking at where the space is on the pitch here, and now heading towards their box. Nice step there. Good touch. The ball going into the mids now. And they're bringing the defence out. Ready for a strike move. Sweep coming. Pick up.
Alice Watts might have a dive. Nice hole again. Score for Will Stockdale. Will Stockdale making his debut this year for the 18s, but got ramped up to the 20s last year in Avicii when we had late dropouts for injury, and Will was on the reserve list, and very proud to play for the under-20s at the age of 16.
Yeah, that sounds like quite a competition there. I think, yeah, and then but dropping down maybe to the 18s, or maybe it's not.
I think, as you said, the boys in this team, it's a very competitive group. You probably got 16 here are selected. There's another 16 who marginally missed out. I mean, probably the age group out of all of them that England have got the most strength in depth. I see this there again. So you got Malachi Randolph, probably deceptively the most physical out of this England team. So strong in the ruck, but does it in a way that he won't get blown up because he is technically superb. So touch there that the Portuguese guy just stepped back and lost his footing.
And I think that's the thing, all these boys haven't just got one string to their bow. They have lots of options, and that's what the depth of the 18 boys at the moment is.
And here comes the sweeper play. Ollie Simon to Alice Watts coming back. And Alice Pearce going to have a dive. Oh.
Got it away.
Got rid of it. Oh, that's a good ball.
That's a great
good ball, Ollie. Archie Penasard, I think it is there.
It is. Proud dad for that one.
Well, it was a good ball, good option. I mean, I'm assuming Archie gave him a big yell.
And Archie's dad is coaching the girls 18, so again it's another family affair there.
Yeah, Penasard's fantastic at that. Yeah, Andy's done a cracking job for years and as part of the setup. Isabel played 20s and 18s and 15s, I think, and the boys Tom and Max at Nottingham Uni, both Tom's part of the coaching team out here, both playing in Italy later this summer for England Men's Open.
Oh, that's unlucky there. with Samuel Swatsky on that swing, just not managing to get his hands to that ball.
And this is what England have started doing quite a lot at all age groups now, is moving the ball away. And you've seen they've probably gained 15, 20 metres by moving the ball back in field and then still box.
Yeah, and I like the way they're actually looking up at what's in front of them. I mean, some of the other players have come straight for the box in some of the other games earlier, but it's because that was where the space was. It's not necessarily the platform they have to play. It's just looking up and reading what's in front of them.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think you can only do that once you get a bit more confident. You've played together quite a lot, and obviously a lot of these boys have played together as England teams, probably in the 15s, probably for 2 or 3 years, and certainly Nottingham.
I was going to say Nottingham.
Level.
I mean, how many of your Nottingham players have you got in this side then? Come on.
It's 8 or 9, I think, in this team, and they've been playing together, well, certainly for a year or two, and playing together twice a week, every week.
Yeah, and that makes a huge difference. I mean, a lot of these other sides are drawing players from all over the country to put together. And I think that makes it a little bit more tricky.
Yeah, it's definitely 8, and I think there's 2 who have trained a little bit with us. So 10 actually of this team have been playing together at some point during this season and before. So yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Well, you just learn to read off each other.
Unfortunately, Ben McKinns won't like that. He will blame Archie for that ball, I think. Yeah, but chance for Portugal to drive at the box. Need to be attacking hard here.
Yeah, they tend to just hesitate going into the touch a little bit more than our boys from the England setup.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, if you're on your haunches and you're stepping back, you're going to lose the ruck, aren't you? And I think that you need that forward momentum to be able to have a chance at winning the ruck.
Particularly at boys 18 is where strength comes into it. Winning the ruck is so important. Getting underneath them, holding them off if you can.
Absolutely. And this is last one, isn't it? So England will drive them here, see what they do. And Portugal just need to stay awake on this far side. I think just making sure that England don't move the ball down that far side and accelerate down there.
Yeah, they're quite stretched still at the moment across the pitch. And once they read it, they need to just compress a little bit more. Ireland very good at picking out the retreating player, particularly if they've got the back to them, getting the extra yard or 2.
Three on 2 again is on there. Someone will moan at Ellis for that. I think that was probably a 3 on 2. It probably Will Cullen was in the link hole. Last touch. He best do something here. Oh, that's nice. Hands again.
There we are. Managed to redeem themselves.
Yeah, I'll remind Ellis about that later when I see him, just to say, good job that the others helped him out, not to ruin that 3 on 2 far side.
But again, it just shows how much England are trying to move the defence for the Portuguese. They had them stacked one side, they then managed to move the ball back the other way, and that's when the gap's open, when your feet don't react as quickly as your brain.
Absolutely.
Certainly in my case.
Yeah, and mine too, even when it was 20 years ago when I played. I think and I've not watched them yet, but I heard the Ukraine game earlier, and the generally rugby league players, so a lot have changed the direction, a lot of keeping the ball alive, but maybe lacking a bit of the frameworks of touch, and if they get that, I think that Ukrainian team could well be quite good as well. So intrigued to watch them, and also to keep an eye on this Portuguese side as they develop. I
think that's the thing, you can develop so much in a tournament as you begin to get together and you learn the finer points of touch.
Absolutely, and even there, good. They knew it was 6th. So rather than trying to throw the ball around and losing momentum, they've set the defence. Hopefully, they will make a touch or 2 early, and they've put them under pressure straight away. And that comes from that winger over the far side clearing the ball on their terms, and important. Defence is sometimes only as good as your last attack.
Be nice to see Portugal making some yards here, getting up to the 7 and having a few shots at scoring. Tend to be hanging back a little bit too far.
They are, and if you look at their line, it's very flat, isn't it? I know we talk a lot about depth, and we talk about depth in most versions of codes of rugby, and it's so important. And we want to get these links further back, the wings further back still. And I think the coaching point for them at half time will be if they can run a little bit more at depth onto the ball, they might put this England team under pressure.
Yeah, because they've got the skills. It's just, as you say, the touch that isn't quite there, the patterns. They haven't got anything to fall back on when they're not sure of what they're doing.
Yep.
And that's the thing I like about having a pattern, to play from. You have a plan to deviate from. And if you are feeling a bit, scrambled because it's fast paced, you just go back to muscle memory of this is what we do to get off.
Yep, absolutely. Sweeper play in for Ben McKinns. Nice. And I think set
And
up
he
from the one before, Theo Oxford brought that far link up, and then Portugal had to recover to that far side that dragged the defence back towards it, and they read it, and Ben on the sweeper play striking in the middle area.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really nice to see here is the boys are actually looking at what's in front of them and choosing the play that suits it. They're not just running a play because it's the one that their pod run. And I think some teams sometimes fall into that trap sometimes of having different pods running different moves because that's what they do.
Absolutely. I was chatting to some of the Aussies when I was over in May, and they were saying we don't have pods, because we want all of our players to be able to adapt to what they see in front of them, play with different players, read the game differently, rather than having you run what you want to run. And as you said, I think the game's evolving, isn't it? Because maybe a few years ago in this country that's what we did, whereas now you talk to our junior coaches and that's not the case.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the girls 15s at the moment, they've got a very fluid setup. They don't have particular positions. They are playing everywhere depending where they come on, when they come on, and I think that's actually the future of touch here, is to have a more inclusive approach, that we don't just have mids, links and wings. You could be anywhere.
Yeah, I'm just I was about to say how fluid that England transition was, and then Ethan Gallagher, you'll have a fine by me when we get back for that. What I'm assuming was a long ball to the wing that landed in no man's land. So I hope you watch this stream back at some point, Ethan.
Yeah, but they're making it up for now. It's a strong press there from England on defence.
And I
That's
think
fifth on the 10.
Absolutely, and I think I've seen the last 2 or 3 times Portugal have driven, they've killed the ball on that far side. Yeah, and they know they're killing the ball, but they're hopefully setting their defence to try and put England under a bit of pressure.
They still tend to hang back on the defence a little bit if they don't think it's going to come to them, and that means that we're getting that slight dog leg, which is giving the England boys an extra couple of yards.
Absolutely. I think that's fourth, is it? I think that's fourth. 5 is coming. You got Malachi, that's Theo Oxford popping the ball down to Will Stockdale. Malachi, little pop. I thought he was in.
I think he thought he was in too.
He did, yeah.
But again, Portugal taking a little bit of time to turn that ball over, giving England the chance to actually reset. It's little things like that which mean that you're not making the yards that you could make.
Yeah, and again, what in less so in that one, but in the previous 2 touches, the Portuguese again very very upright in the touch. If you watch England get there, we fend and bend. The terminology we're using in Nottingham at the moment, where get your body really low, really down, and win that ruck. And at the moment, Portugal are probably just a little bit upright in the ruck.
I have to say, being short, I get away with that a little bit more. I don't have to bend quite so low.
So that brings the first half to a conclusion here. I've lost track of score. I'll have to check it at half time. We'll come back to you very shortly. But I think a very dominant England first half, and Portugal starting to create some shape when they're turning from attacking to defence, but pretty good. And we're 9-0, so we're both hopeful of a score for Portugal's second half.
Yep, that'd be great.
Right, welcome back. Chris Simon here with Anthony Newton. We're going to bring you the second half of this Portugal 18s versus England 18s boys game. 9-0 half time. Anthony, what are we looking for second half?
I'd really like to see Portugal actually flowing into their attack on the line. They tend to be driving well down and then just pausing and having a look at the defence. But if they rolled into something, I think they'd catch England sleeping slightly.
Yeah, I hope so. I think we talked also about a little bit of depth in that first half, and we're coaching all the time back home, and I'm really hoping we can see their links run with a bit of depth and put the England defence under a little bit of pressure. A lot in this England team that I know will, no doubt say no, they don't want that. But actually, this England team needs to be tested. They'll go into some harder games, certainly tomorrow and again on Sunday. So I think I'm looking for a little bit of fight, a little bit of competition in the second half, and hopefully we'll see the Portuguese get over the line.
Yeah, I think that'll be good to see. Looking a bit more depth here now. So let's see how it goes. Nicely in the same hole there, good yards.
Yeah, good 32, good 32. But again, good. And I think it's good to see him have a run at the line and now just either kill the ball far side or have a go. They are subbing. You never know whether they're going to go direct or not, because they will go direct the first 1 or 2 touches. Good drive by Archie Penasod there. Got Joe Banks in at half from the wing, and that's in the ruck. I think that's going to be in the ruck. Yeah, in the ruck. I don't think Will Stockdale's linky. I don't think he'll be doing it, but sometimes players can just pop that ball down just behind the foot, can't they, to win that penalty? I don't think that was what England were doing.
I don't think that was intentional that time, but I have seen it done.
Sweeper play, Will Stockdale coming in, driving hard at the line. That looks like a score, I think.
I think so.
Certainly the link didn't get it, as it does score.
I think he saw him coming too late and just slightly wrong-footed. And it's a great dive, though. Also, I think this surface is fantastic for diving on. This is
absolutely. It's I think this is possibly the best touch surface I've seen, and I will make an apology to any colleagues back at the University of Nottingham, because maybe
I
several
did
years
make
ago
that comment earlier that I thought it was giving Nottingham a run for its money, and I think it is. It's fantastic setup here.
It absolutely is, and I think testament to the team here at UL, University of Limerick, but also at the Ireland Touch, who have done a phenomenal job of bringing this event together. And and their work is not finished. We've still got just over 2 days to go, so much more to do. Good drive at the line, a little pop out there. Sideline is that's about the closest I think Portugal have got. A little pop out there. I think he's given. No, it's not. It's just that sideline was run out.
They're shutting down the defence better there. That's Portugal up then. And need to bounce back up again, not wait for them to run at them.
Malachi's second touch. Archie Penasod into Theo Oxford for third. Theo just stepping back inside. Sam Dean there at half. That's Ollie Simon to Ellis Pearce. Looking for down. Will Stockdale back into Ellis. And that's going to be over the mark.
The boys are very good at responding to that next job, turning their back, placing the ball back down, and they're set as defence again. Look how tight they are in comparison to the Portuguese when they're defending.
Yeah, and it's not square hips he's given there. Unfortunately, one of those, I think, not square. I've seen... there's
been quite a few calls of that today, actually.
Refs used to be very strict on it. Then I think the last couple of years it's become less so, and then seems to have just gone back. I think certainly at the youth level, where you want them to get those... Don't get those bad habits. Get it right the first time.
Yeah, it's a bit like a netball where you're looking for footwork. There we are, nice score there.
Too easy score. I think there, again, what you see, I think it was Will Stockdale took the 32, splitting out, but in front of the defender, so the defender couldn't get back on. Technical play, but it's positively encouraged, so the link was never anywhere near onside, and Ollie, quick feedback to Stockdale, who was in.
Yeah, it makes it slightly easier if you've picked your line, and not blocking the defender, but ahead of them.
Absolutely. It's clever touch, isn't it? I think it's legal but clever, should we say.
And I think that's why touch is actually such a great game, is that a lot of it comes down to being tactical, and the reason that so many of us play at an older age is that you can still play because tactically you can come up with a different way of scoring that might be less flashy than the 18s, but still just as effective.
Absolutely, and certainly one of the joys of this sport, and certainly for us as a family, is we can all play on the same field. And the gap gets harder and bigger, doesn't it? And they probably now say they certainly don't like playing with us, but I still enjoy playing with now young adults in our family.
Yeah, I've been knocked out from playing link by my daughter. I'm back on the wing, but it's great to see.
last time I played, mine were telling me that I've got to pull a corner, and then they said, "No, the other one, Dad." Right, great sweeper play.
Sweet,
Archie Penaside is going to go out. That's a touch, I think. Good touch, good touch.
I think that was a great touch.
And I think, Archie, then you could have just popped that out of the back to Malachi running that link hole, who would have scored.
Yeah, and I think that's what England have to be a bit careful of, is they need to be looking at the other options, because when they come up against a better defence side, they need to have read that actually was the more successful option.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I see this coaching box down here, Josh Bendel. Down there you've got Squid and Theo Edwards, all looking at the play, having a chat to players as they come off, maybe telling them what they can and can't do, what they should be looking at. They'll probably have told these players, run this platform because we want to test this platform out for us, and they might be running that for 5 or 10 minutes, and then they may say, right, now we're going to go to a different platform. And it'd be interesting. I'd love to hear, I'll maybe have a chat with Josh later and get some feedback. Yeah,
it'd be great to see, because as you say, they're going to be coming up against other teams, and it's worth making sure you've learnt and practiced different platforms against a defence that isn't your mates.
Yeah, and
it's always difficult to practice when you know what's coming.
Absolutely, and I think the England teams have played quite a lot against one another, so they're used to certain defences. That's a good attack by Portugal. And a couple of little things there might have just been slightly forward, but this is where's the referee, and you're thinking this is going to be one-sided this game, so maybe you are slightly lenient. You shouldn't be, but slightly lenient with the team that. Oh, good touch. That's a good touch by the winger. That
was from Martin Cavalto.
I think England got lucky there. They definitely had 7 on, something I like to spot. Feed back into Ellis, running the 32. He's offside, and he should give that, but he's not.
So that's where it's tricky sometimes.
Ollie's going to set up Will Cullen. It's going to be a 32 again. 20 short side, and Ollie's in. So just a quickie on the link there. Yeah. Link didn't pull a corner, and Ellis fed back to Ollie very quickly, and he scored. Ellis and Ollie, best mates in these two middles. If they don't know each other by now, they've been playing for about 25 years together, even though they're only 18.
I think that's the thing, and I love when you attack the link well, especially if they're not cornering. The holes are there, and it's nice to see them doing that. Absolutely.
What I don't like is when the boys pick on often the female link, and actually I like to see the boys testing the boys against the boys a little bit more, and I do think, obviously watching a boys game here, but in the mixed game I'd like to see a variant to the rule where maybe you've got to play a girl in the middles and actually splitting it up a little bit more. And I'd also like to see maybe the squads are 8 and 8, so you have to have 8 boys and 8 girls, and see what that does to the game. We have talked about it actually at FIT, whether we should test it out a little bit.
I think it's quite interesting to see how some of the other mixed in the 15s have got a variety. In the mixed girls for England, they've got 2 mids as girls, which is nice to see.
And I commentated on the we'll just let that Ethan Gallagher running through the middles. Got away with the forward pass off the rook though. I think I was commentating on the mixed England team, and I think at one point they had 5 girls and 1 boy on the field, which was great to see. And I certainly think we're, as much as possible, are trying to encourage in the mixed game, get the girls in the middles, get them playing on the ball, not just because the skill set develops, but actually the lads out wide get to understand what it's like when you've not got your hands on the ball the whole time.
Yeah, it was interesting watching one of the camps for the mixed 18s, and there was a little bit of frustration that the winger wasn't catching some of the long balls, so the coaches flipped it and made all the boys run on the wing and try and catch a long ball under pressure, and they suddenly realised it's not as easy as they'd anticipated.
Absolutely. I think that's great to see, and I think the more and more, that's going to be half, the more and more that we get all players to understand all positions, and my first experience was on a wing, and I think that the wing is a very technical position. You're very involved in the game, and an awful lot of pressure. There's no one else to help you out when you're out there.
And sometimes you don't have a sub, so you don't get that feedback from the box. You don't get to hear how you're doing. It's nice yards again.
Absolutely. Ellis Watts there, Sam Dean at half, Ollie Simon to Ellis Pearce. I'm going to try and get the middle up there. Ollie's going to get the middle up. What are they going to run? Ollie's no half there, mate. Miss ball, Ellis. Good touch.
That's great touch.
I think he scored that. One, hasn't he? Yeah. So just heads up from Ellis there. I mean, Portuguese probably fell asleep a little bit. 5th touch. They expect England not to have a go at the line, and to be fair to Ellis, very good play and just a little bit diving. One of the best divers actually I think we've got in this team.
Yeah, and it's nice to see the dives there, but I think actually Portugal are getting better at getting lower. They've stopped a few of the dives going in compared to the first half.
Yeah, good again, good drive, and getting lower in the touch there. You just getting lower in the dive. That's a good roll ball. Number 2 there for Portugal. Good bend and fend, and won that ruck. England had no chance. And again, now what we've got here, through a miss ball.
Oh,
and he's been taken out, by Stocky. I don't think it was against Will. I think it was against offside back here in the middles.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was either Gallagher or Mallow, one of those two. And knowing Will, he'll be explaining to the ref that it was probably Ethan who was offside.
It's nice to see the defence with the mid up high. Lots of comms between the mids there.
Yeah, it's good. And again, just a little bit static, so losing, very upright in the roll ball, losing the momentum. That's going to be a score, offside. Yes, number 6.
Yes, they've got that.
Duarte Pavia, very good. Oh, and that is the most popular score.
Yep.
And I think popular at both ends, which is good to see. And here on the bank in front of us, I'm trying to work out which side we are, whether this is the Western Terrace or the Eastern Terrace. Now, if it's the Western Terrace, we'll call it Heading League before we finish this weekend. But good score, a really popular score for Portugal. Delighted they get one on the scoreboard.
And again, it was nice. It was from a dive. It was from good forward momentum.
The only downside, they're playing 4 players at the moment. I'm not sure. So Portugal we're lacking wings. I think that's a good ball out the side to Joe Banks. But I'm not sure what happened there. But
Antonio Silva trying to slide across to make that touch there, but he just hadn't got it.
Yeah, it was. I think they probably switched off. They were still celebrating, I think, scoring, that they forgot to come back on to defend. Whether they thought it was a drop-off, I don't know.
It was just the excitement. But they've still technically got 4 players on the pitch now.
Yeah, but go back to, I think, from an England perspective, they'll be delighted, actually. They just went and played what was in front of them and scored, rather than going back to type and back to structure. They just said, there's no one out here on the link wing, let's go and score.
And it was a lovely ball.
That's half. Can they link quicker? No. Yeah, 6 touches.
It's not sure of the count there. That was Thiago, number 2.
Yeah, that's Pearce to Ollie Simon. Will Cullen on the ball. Good drive. Pearce is going to pop this up to Alice Watts, who's going to go towards the box. Sam Dean, probably a couple of roll balls in here for Sam. That one's got away with probably a slightly forward one. And he'll be the strike play. 5th coming. Ethan Gallagher. Switch back to Archie Penn. That's a good touch. Good touch. Let him get away with that. Good touch, yeah. Oh, nice. Going to go back to it. And unlucky. I think unfortunate. And I think probably just followed through on the arms. So, yeah, I think... was it Will Stockdale or I can't remember? No, it was Archie. I think it was on. I can't remember who was on the drive, but probably slightly upright. And I wouldn't say won the penalty because it was a hard touch, but probably just got away with it. Back to Stocky, flip out wide. Oh, nice step back. I think that's Tom Courts out there, number 10 for England. Yeah, I think it is Tom. Yeah.
Yeah, it sometimes can feel a bit demoralising for teams when another team's come against you like this, but you have to look at the difference between the first half and this half. Portugal have come out better, they've scored, and I think they're actually looking more together as a side. That score down there wasn't because they didn't do anything wrong, they just were over celebrating their win. But I think it's definitely the stats would look better for the second half for them, which is the progress we want to see in this tournament. Yeah,
it is. I've not kept on top of their scores elsewhere in the games. This will be their 3rd game. I think that's not square hips, but it's little technicalities. That's an easily coachable. Get it out of the game. Just a bit more experience. Ben McKinn's driving up. Theo Oxford. Here's Malachi Randolph on the ball now, dragging the Portuguese, moving the Portuguese defenders around and gaining another 5 or 6 metres, and they'll be pleased with that. Theo, I think this is out to Will Cullen here in the link channel. Thought that was going back into Theo Oxford. It's not. It's Malachi Randolph. Switch back again, ball going to go down here, sweep coming from Will Cullen, 4 on 3 if they want it, a link hole for Malachi. Great, good score, and just
so
nice framework. Yeah, absolutely. Go on, sorry, Anthony.
And what I like about the fluidity is the comms are there, they know what they're doing, and it doesn't feel forced. It just happens. It's great.
It is, and you say that fluidity. That's that word. When you're a coach, you're watching the game, when you see that, they make it look so easy. And it was platforms, it was patterns. But when the defence showed something, Malachi showed it in the midfield. He didn't give the ball. He took another defender on, gained another 10 yards, and it puts the defence on the back foot as well. And
it's also the half getting with her, because quite often when you watch these games, people get an extra yard, but then they've lost their half.
Absolutely.
But the fluidity of actually having a half there who's followed you that extra metre.
That's good. 3 on 2 go wide. 2 on 1. No, I think England have recovered, but that's good to see from Portugal. It's good. And again, I think at this stage, get to the 7. I'm going to say 5 then. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Get to the 7. Good start. Absolutely. Alice Pearce driving in. Archie Penniston, and they're into 2. And this could be a score here for Joe Banks. Oh, he slowed down and gave the defender a chance. But Joe will be back at half. Will Stockdale coming on. Here comes Mellor to Gallagher.
7 on the pitch again there, I reckon.
Yeah, they got away with that again. Switch back again. Oh, and that's going to be, should be pop out here, Will. I think he scored, has he? Is he going to give the touch? I think. Good touch. Good touch
there.
And Ethan will be moaning he didn't get the ball from Stocky. Testing Stocky's hamstrings.
See, I think Portugal are coming out quite slowly.
Yeah, Mellor into Gallagher, and it's a quickie. Will's in. Oh, he's dropped the ball. Lost the ball, he knows it.
Yeah, he knows. I think that's one of the differences when you see England down in their 7, they're up, they're hunting, they're trying to make that touch. Portugal just a little bit more cautious about coming up.
Yeah, and I think, and I've seen, you've seen rugby players play this game, and we've had a couple of really good rugby players in Nottingham who have gone away, played rugby, come back to touch, and their first game they're absolutely hanging. The fitness is different, and touch fitness is an awful lot of time in the gym, but also aerobically you need to be pretty fit and stamina wise to run 25, 30k in a day.
Yeah,
that's not easy, is it?
Oh, nice sweep. Oh.
Ethan Gallagher just a feint there into the link channel. The Portugal bought that dummy, and Ethan just over. He's just I'll talk about Ethan a little bit. Just broken into the Nottingham Hoods team, helped the Hoods win the mixed title for the first time this year. And Ethan, I think, is right on the fringe of an England Opens team. 16, 17, I think, just turned 17.
Wow.
He's doing his A-levels next year below Ollie, so he's still got another year at this age group, and is a very big, good prospect for England in the future.
Well, I think that's what's nice looking across the whole pitches as we sit up here, is that the future of touch is looking great. There's players from all over the place showing what they can do, and it means that all those Euros we've play in the future, the teams we're going to be playing against are going to be that bit stronger. Yeah,
and it bodes well for the Northern Hemisphere, doesn't it? I think you talk to others here in England are setting the benchmark, but others are catching up, and I think as much as others are catching up in England and others are catching the Southern Hemisphere, and the World Cup last year showed certainly the gap was lower between Australia, New Zealand, and then New Zealand and the rest, and I think that is superb for the game, and you never know, I think at some point someone else will win gold and silver medals in this competition.
I think the Irish have got their eyes on the mixed 18s one at the moment. It could be a good game later, I think.
Good wide ball, that.
Nice.
Good from Ellis Watts. Been in and out of the sport for the last 12 to 18 months, plagued by a bit of injury. Good to see him back out here running hard. Great long ball out there. And who was on the wing? Was it Sam? I don't know who was on the wing then. I didn't see.
No. But you're saying about the fitness, and I think that's something that new people to touch don't realise, because they don't get why you learn to sub until you play a proper game, and then they're like, oh, now I get it.
Absolutely, and I always say, you get newcomers in the junior setup, and you say to them, you're only allowed to stay if you can defend the next 2, just in case you make 2 mistakes. And actually, if they can't defend the next 2, don't stay on the field and attack, get off the field. That's unlucky. But
unlucky.
Good to see Portugal moving the ball. I think, they're trying to play heads up. We need this Portugal to get their defence sorted out. And they're rolling straight back, aren't they? This is only second touch, and they're rolling hard straight away.
And they tend to be turning their back a little bit there, which makes it easier for the England players to attack them.
Yeah. So you've got Pearce and Simon back on here. Will Cullen has just stepped into mid. He's going to switch it up with Alice, is he? And Alice back to Ollie. Is the sweep coming there? The sweep's not coming.
No, the sweep's not coming like that.
I'm not sure what that is. I think we'll call it an unfortunate incident, caught in the ruck, I think. I think maybe a Portuguese footballer would have been pleased with that tackle, a slide tackle into Alice there. Yeah. Very, very accidental, not intended whatsoever. The quickie Alice is going to score in here. Has he got that ball down? The ball is down.
The ball's down first. I think the Portuguese player is quite frustrated with that one. I think he felt he had it, but
might have been offside. Maybe just didn't quite make that one.
When you always think you've made the touch because you can't see your feet because you're looking at the ball.
Yeah, it is. It's and you can't see your feet, the line. Yeah, it's the game is a lot easier than it looks, isn't it? Particularly in defence, when you're trying to read what the attacker's doing. You're trying to cover with your mate as well. Work as a 6. I always make the analogy of a football table, not quite as firm as that, but certainly you're trying to all play together.
Yeah, and I think the foosball table is quite a good way. Oh.
That's going to be late pass, unfortunate.
That's a shame he didn't continue that run into the dead ball area and just have that patience that we were talking about earlier to then look for the offload.
Yeah, I think the ref has given a late pass on this. I think, yeah, absolutely. I think that again just comes with experience of being in that position, being in that part of the pitch a little bit more often. Slightly overrun that way. Will Stockdale Stocky as he goes by. Portugal have a chance. I think they've not had a repeat set for some time in this game, so hopefully they'll test this England defence now. Hopefully get them working a little bit.
They've got the ball skills actually, and the distance of pass to actually really move this defence, but haven't seen it. Been one through. That's a better ball.
The chance was on there.
Now you see. Oh,
has he made it? Will's made that. Yeah.
I think there was a trailing hand in there for that touch. But you see, when they use the long ball and they start moving, it's looking slightly more of a threat.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. A good touch by Will Mellor, and he's still offside though. That's going to be 6 touches.
I mean, that's something of running at the offside player and actually knowing you can get past them is something that's hesitant to do to begin with.
Go on, Banksy. That England will. Oh, it's going to be the touch there. That's full time, and we're not sure what the score is. We're going to come back if 20 scores to 1. We're going to come back in front of the camera and finish off this, as we just resume this game. But a great game. So. Yeah, back here, just in front, and Anthony, I think it was 20 scores to 1, but yeah, I think obviously England went and second half won 11-1, but good to see Portugal on the score sheet.
Yeah, no, I thought they did much better in that second half. I think if you looked at the stats in the second half, I think Portugal were stronger. I thought they let in less, and I think the fact they've got a score, they should be happy with that. Yeah,
really good. I think we said a couple of things at half time about wanting to run with depth, wanting to run with momentum, get it going, and they certainly did that.
They did, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in the next game. I think this will be a good stepping point for them. They'll be able to build on it for the next match.
Good, thanks very much. That's the boys' 18s. England-Portugal finish for this one, and we'll catch you again very shortly.